Hi everyone, back with Angel, your favorite chindo, and today I have a very special, fluffy, furry friend over here. Since I'm back in my hometown, I have my dog here with me, and her name is Moochie, or it's supposed to be Mochi, but I call her Mooch Mooch sometimes. And she's just gonna be hanging around with us today in this episode, and she's gonna sit here. Sit down. Okay, I guess she doesn't want to be in the video. She's over there. All right. Anyways, today I'm going to be talking about how to not compare yourself with other people in the world. You know when you scroll through TikTok and you see everybody's successes online? Well, keep in mind that that's just like the highlights and the achievements that they post. You don't actually know their behind the scenes. But lately I've been actually a little bit not bothered, but I've been very comparative with me and those type of people that says like, oh, I reached this amount of income per month building this agency in a year or so, and they're still like around my age, like 22 or 23. So that's the reason why I want to bring this topic up today properly and cover some chapters today as well, because I previously did something similar to this, but just in a more casual sort of way. So let's get into it. So the very first thing I want to talk about, of course, is physical appearance or beauty, because a lot of people compare themselves in a physical way. So let's talk about that first. I'm pretty sure a lot of people experience this. So just to put it out there, but there is no universal standard for beauty. Everybody has their own personal opinions, and it's very subjective. You might think somebody else is hot, you might not. Your best friend might not think that they're hot. Let me give you an example, right? Oh yeah, by the way, I wanna include this like spoiler alert if you haven't watched Single Inferno season 4, because I'll be a little bit talking about it. So in Singles Inferno season 4, because it's currently booming and rising right now, if there were to be the lineup of men in Singles Inferno, I would personally prefer, as in like more ideal appearance type, Jong-soo, okay? Because he has this cute side, but then he's also very like, you know, he looks like a playboy, like he acts like a playboy, but he also has this cute look. So I would be attracted to him the most. But throughout the season, I actually do think that Jang Tae-oh is the most charming in terms of personality. And because if I had to choose between the both of them, I would choose Tae-oh, obviously, because I know that Jong-soo has always been like very confusing to girls. Like he keeps, I mean, it's fine because like you're trying to get to know everybody, but it's like he says one thing, that's the other thing, and he says the same thing to all the girls, and it makes all of them confused, obviously. And Tae-oh is just always there for Sian. Like he's always like very sure about her. I don't mean like they have to be very sure about someone just in 10 days, but I'm saying like they don't confuse the girls about who they're actually interested in and then act the certain opposite way. And that's why once I watch the whole season, I do think Sian should be with Tae-oh, because one, the other guy that in the end of Singles Inferno is Junso. So basically, Junso is very like, he has very this physical touch with Sian on the first day when they went to paradise. And I feel like Sian kind of like confuses her feelings with the skinship that she had with Junso. And I really do, so
꼼짝거려. 이거는 아는 거예요?
아는 거 같아.
아는
것 같아.
알았어.
지금 이렇게 아는 거잖아. 알았어. 아는 거죠?
like in this case, for physical appearance, I would think that Jong-soo is the best. But in personality-wise, I would still be more attracted to Jang Tae-oh, because he's very clear and he really communicates what he wants. And it's amazing being with somebody like that, because you don't have to be confused about it. So that's just in the form of way that's saying that there's no universal beauty or standard for beauty or physical appearance. So you don't have to worry about it a lot, because it's very subjective to what people like. So let's say that there is this model's Instagram, let's say Sierra, and she looks absolutely gorgeous. She's an Instagram model. And then on the other hand, there's this just let's say digital marketer called I don't know, Mackenzie or something like that. Okay, and basically Mackenzie's Instagram, it's good, it's all natural. She still looks pretty, but in the standpoint of Instagram, and when you look at their attractive appearances, obviously the model, let's say Sierra, looks more charming. But let's say you get them together in a room and you start to talk to them, and you realize that Sierra is kind of very like quiet, she's very reserving, she doesn't really have this charm, even though she's a model and she looks absolutely gorgeous. And then Mackenzie, on the other hand, even though she's not a model, she just has this kind of like spirit. She has this personality, just makes her like in real life that shines so bright. Obviously, you're just gonna forget about Sierra because at the end of the day, it's the chemistry, it's the charisma, it's the charm that matters. You don't wanna have or be with somebody who has like no substance in real life and they're just complete like boring, right? At the end of the day, you will just choose somebody for the personality most of the time. Well, I don't know, this is my opinion, but this is what most of my friends tell me, and this is my own personal opinion as well. At the end of the day, personality is what matters. Like, you're not gonna just, if you don't have chemistry with that person, you're not gonna go for them just because they look prettier. At the end of the day, you're going to choose somebody that's personality is more charming, and that makes them like 100 times more attractive than their actual appearance. So this is something that you don't really have to worry about as much or compare your beauty to somebody else. I mean, obviously do self-care, take good care of yourself in your physical appearance, but at the same time, don't stress about it or sweat about it too much, because at the end, personality wins, and if you got that charm, you will definitely win more than just having the looks. All right, so moving on to the next, which is comparing yourself in terms of career instead of physical appearances now. So do you know that feeling when you're in school and your parents care so much about your academics? So for example, they care if you get 100 or 90 or above 80. I mean, obviously we want to pass, but they really care about your grades, basically. Especially living in an Asian household, that's usually what Asian parents care about. But they don't really matter, right? When, let's say, you got into university. After university, what happens next, right? It's work. Nobody will give a about your grades in university or in school. It didn't even matter on that math test that you got 100 at this point. At this point, what matters is basically your soft skills, your experiences, and how you actually do the interview, your CV. That's all that matters when you're applying for a job. Like your grades in university. I'm not saying in terms of GPA, because I think that little bit matters a bit. Especially, I think having a degree just matters. But in terms of like academics, like what you did so well in high school, like that doesn't matter now. Like that's all in the past, and like nobody's gonna ask you for your math grade in like 3rd grade or something like that. So that's just to keep in mind that your career also sometimes doesn't, depend on your grades or academics for something, but it kind of depends more on your like experiences and your soft skills. Especially throughout the career standpoint, like I said earlier, I kind of compared myself to other people's career on TikTok where they've been showing like all their achievements. But keep in mind that life is not a competition and everyone has their own timeline. So your chapter 1 will maybe be somebody's chapter 3. Maybe your chapter 3 will be somebody's chapter 1. And vice versa. Everybody is on their own timeline, and it's not a competition. It's a competition to be the best version of yourself and be a better person than who you were a day ago, a week ago, a month ago. Not you in competition with somebody else, because your journey is different. Their journey is different. Everybody has their own journeys and their own timeline. One thing that I actually do want to share about in my career is the fact where I when I was like 22, I was still in this marketing agency, right? And I loved working what I did back then, which was I was an associate strategist. But one thing that I had always confused myself about is, why am I doing my plan B? Because that was not what I wanted to do. That was not my dream life. That was not my dream goal. My first ever dream, what I wanted to become is a content creator. I wanted to be an influencer. So I had asked myself, like, why is it that I'm doing my plan B and not my plan A? So at this case, it's like my plan A is to be a successful content creator and have a life as a content creator and make money doing the things that I love to do. My plan B is working a corporate job that I like, but not necessarily want. It's like sitting in the office. When I was young, I was like, there is no way I can sit in the office in a cubicle and work for 8 hours a day. And that was my plan B, because I was in an agency and I was still doing something that was related to my first dream life, but it is working for somebody else's dream, not my own dream. I was helping other influencers grow as an agency, as an associate strategist, but I wasn't doing it myself. And I would question myself, why do I not put in the work? I started feeling guilty. I started becoming like, why am I not doing my plan A? Why am I doing my plan B? And the answer is because I'm already comfortable with my plan B. Plan A takes a lot of dedication for me, and I would always burn out after I'm doing my 9-to-5 job, honestly. And I would always make excuses, I feel like, because like I'm always tired, I don't have time, I have a full-time job that I need to do. Whenever I go home, I just want to watch Netflix and chill because I'm just super drained and I'm too lazy to make videos because I'm tired from my full-time job. But that is an excuse, and I started feeling guilty about it because why am I not working on plan A and working on plan B? So this year, I feel like it's my year, and I'm manifesting that 2025 is my year, and you can too. And that is why in 2025 I'm starting this journey with you guys, and I hope you guys can get to your achievements and dream life as well. So I'm putting content out there for you to actually be more motivated as well, and I'll tell you little steps of what you can do to actually try to achieve your dream life. All right, so back into the topic of not comparing yourself to others. So the very first thing that I want to talk about before moving forwards is the difference between jealousy and envy. Jealousy is basically something that you're threatened of losing. So for example, you have your own boyfriend and this girl is hitting him up in the club, and you don't like that because your boyfriend is with you, you are in a relationship with your boyfriend, and then somebody else is threatening, to like get in the way of both of you, right? So envy is like an emotion that we want to have from somebody else that we don't have already. So let's say somebody's career, like they're very successful, they're a billionaire, they make a lot of money every month. So it's something that we don't have yet, but we want, and somebody else has it. So that is the difference between jealousy and envy. Before actually moving on to some steps so that you can stop comparing, the first thing you need to do is analyze on why you actually compare yourself to other people. So this has a lot of roots, okay? So maybe the reason why you're comparing yourself to others is because maybe your parents or family compared you to your brother, your sister, or anybody in your family, or your cousin maybe. Like, oh, like why can't you get better grades? Like your brother always gets better grades than you. Why can't you be like him? A lot of people experience this. Or maybe your boyfriend is always comparing you to his ex. Maybe he's always saying like, like she did this for me, like she always cooked dinner for me every day and you didn't, and she always dressed up so pretty. Why can't you be a little more, why can't you put effort a little bit more into your fashion sense, or put more makeup on, something like that? Or maybe your teachers have compared you to another student, rare case, but this happens as well. Or maybe it's just a simple fact that you are insecure. Maybe you believe that you were not really good enough, and so you compare yourself to others. You don't have that confidence in yourself that you can do good, and you're always judging yourself and treating yourself very hard when maybe nobody else is treating you like that. Or maybe another thing is you use excuses saying that somebody else is more privileged than you. Maybe their parents has more money, more connections, and you don't, and you use this as an excuse to like self-sabotage yourself. Because I know this sounds crazy, but some people do this without actually realizing that they're self-sabotaging themselves. Maybe you just doubt yourself, or you're not really confident, right? So you do this as an excuse to not aim for your goals, basically. The second thing that I actually want to talk about is basically comparing yourself to somebody else. So I know in this example, I've always given an example in TikTok that you always compare your life to somebody who is already an entrepreneur while you're working a 9-to-5 job. Well, at this case, you have to leverage this. You see, you can't always like be judgmental about it. Oh, that's so little. Like their achievement is so little. I bet if I am an entrepreneur, I could do so much more. Or like maybe you quit your 9-to-5 job and you want to be a creator and you're like in the same level, let's say. Instead of like being jealous, comparing yourself to others, or like trying to basically be better than them and see them as a threat or as a competition, because that is scarcity mindset that you have, and that is so bad. It's basically the belief that only you can have it, nobody else can have it. Only you can be successful and nobody else can be successful. That is scarcity mindset, and that is not a mindset that we would like to have. Instead of doing that, what we can actually do is use that jealousy or maybe that drive or envy into something that's more of like an inspiration. Like, hey, I want to be that successful as well. So instead of feeling those emotions, just be inspired, and it's like a sign to actually work harder on your dreams. And instead of going against each other, work with each other. Share your processes, share your thoughts, and don't be scared that, oh, they're gonna steal it and then gonna be better than me and all that. You have to be your own self, and you have to produce your own unique value. And when you combine them together, all your processes together, you can actually learn to grow forward instead of fighting or competing with each other. And you're gonna go so far if you have this mindset. It's the abundance mindset instead of scarcity mindset. Another thing that I've actually already talked about is that everybody has their own timeline. Like, you might look at Justin Bieber, who overnight he became an international hot sensation. Well, I can tell you right now that that is a very rare case. And also the fact that everybody has their own timeline. So he might blow up at that age. Maybe you won't. Maybe you will blow up like, I don't know, 5 years later, 10 years later. Maybe you won't even blow up at all, okay? Harsh truth. But it is the universe telling you that that's not for you and that's not your journey, and you are meant for something else that is greater for your own expertise. So also keep in mind that you don't have to be 22 or 23 to be very young and successful. You can even be 40 and then start being successful. Everybody has their own timeline, and we don't know when we're gonna do that. All we can do right now is try for the best and put in the hard work and effort, and leave the rest to the universe or to God if you believe in God. I've actually always been having this mindset of me being sad, honestly, because I, from a young age, I have always wanted to be a content creator, and I work so hard before to be an athlete, to practice my dance skills, do gymnastics, do cheerleading. I kind of sacrificed my childhood to improve myself as an athlete. And when I see somebody like maybe my friend who blew up overnight, got a lot of followers, living her dream life, when I saw them, because I was their friend, and I know how much effort they put in, and seeing my effort that I put in that much, when I thought that she's putting like this much and then she gets to blow up and live my dream life, and while I'm still actually, like just trying all the time, well, I used to always have that mindset, and I guess now I can say that that's kind of wrong because, well, I always, talk about it to my friends and say like, maybe hard work doesn't really pay off. Maybe all of that sacrifice I did when I was a child was for nothing. Or why is it that I work so hard and I can never get my dreams or anything like that? But I think that was the wrong mindset for me to have. Because instead of comparing myself or because I don't know what she did behind the scenes. I mean, I might be her friend. Sometimes I might, join her for her photo shoots and all. But at the end of the day, she 100% has her life and I don't know all of it, And as well as my friends tell me maybe it's just not your time yet. And that's what I've always been, missing. And now I have this mindset, which I switched over where I really believe in the universe, and I really believe that if it's meant for you, it will happen. So for me, if I've put in the effort, if I've worked hard and that's still not meant to be for my path, then I accept it because I know that there's something more brilliant for me coming. But at least now I'm putting in the hard work and effort. So the third thing is to create an alter ego. I know this might sound crazy, or I know it might sound like, oh, I'm faking myself till I make it, fake it till you make it. But in reality, this helps, okay? As a form of sometimes manifestation as well. Because what you can do here is you create an alter ego. I don't have an alter ego yet. I'm gonna set up a name right now, a random name. It's probably not gonna be my name. But let's say I am Rachel, okay? Rachel Fierce, okay? I just made that up, okay? Rachel Fierce, and I wanna be Rachel Fierce because let's say Rachel Fierce has everything going right for her. Some things that I want, my dream life is Rachel Fierce. And the person who she is in the future, Rachel Fierce, I wanna be that. So maybe let's say she's a very successful content creator, she's very confident in herself, she doesn't have imposter syndrome, and she is a very successful entrepreneur as well who has a clothing line, let's say for example. Basically, when you make an alter ego, you kind of think in the way what she would do if she were to already be successful. So let's say her mindset is kind of not very draggy, not oh, I have to have a lot of client meetings, I'm gonna be so tired, I'm gonna, have all this and that. But instead you're kind of thinking okay, I'm grateful for the life I have now, and if I would go to that meeting, I would have to dress up appropriately, would have to dress up for myself, and when I talk to other people, I have to speak with confidence. And you having an alter ego kind of makes yourself think oh, if I was her, how would I act? How would I dress? And having that alter ego actually helps you to be a step higher than yourself, because it's not that we hate ourselves right now and we want to change. No, it's for us to learn to be better and think, if I was successful, what would I do then? How would I act in front of people? I'm not gonna be complaining all the time, right? I would have to look at things or react more positively. And that's basically what your alter ego is there for. Your alter ego is basically creating the version that you want to become, or the highest version of yourself, and trying to act like you are already her. And another thing is to actually acknowledge your feelings and try to find the root cause of it. So let's say I, for once, I always compare myself to other people that's more successful than me. I have to acknowledge that, hey, I am feeling these feelings, I'm envious that they have it and I don't. First, you acknowledge it. Second, you try to find out why you feel this certain way. So let's say, why do I feel this way? And maybe my reason would be because I want to get to that point. I don't want to have to find a job anymore, a 9-to-5 job. I want to be successful doing what I love to do. And maybe the reason why I'm like this is because I have always lacked confidence inside, because I know a lot of people says that I think you're very confident in yourself, but actually deep down inside, when they actually get to know me, that's actually not the case. I'm very insecure. So maybe that's the reason why. And then discover why is it that you're insecure? Where do these insecurities come from? So that I'm not gonna tell you my whole life story, but you just need to figure it out, the root of that feeling for yourself. And number 5 is basically doing self-care habits, maybe journaling, working out, and also taking care of yourself. Make sure that you get enough mental health, and your physical health is also really good. So you have to work out maybe 3 to 4 times a week, 3 to 5 times a week, just to make sure that you're fresh, and this way you will feel more confident. I mean, come on, not everybody loves to work out, but you do this for your own well-being. And self-care, this could be like getting yourself a new haircut or a pedicure or a manicure, just making sure that you take care of yourself. 6, as usual, is the gratitude journal. This is basically just saying 3 to 5 things what you're grateful for. You can actually video this and say it every day, or you could actually write it in your journal as well, or you could make it up in your mind and say it without recording it. And the 7th thing that I want you guys to remember is you are all made to be different, and the best version of yourself is when you are truly yourself and you don't have to pretend to be somebody you're not. So like I said, everybody is different. Everybody is made to be different, okay? You are you, and you are good because you are yourself. You don't have to copycat or be somebody else that you're not, because at the end of the day, what makes you special is yourself. Nobody can copy yourself, or nobody has that. So don't ever try to change yourself or your true colors for somebody else. Change to be better, yes, but don't neglect what you actually like or anything else that you don't feel is you, basically. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you can feel a little bit less, horrible or shitty, and don't try to compare yourself to others, or if you do, try to find it as an inspiration instead of a competition. And I really hope that you guys can finally stop doing that and believing in yourself. So let me know if you want to watch any other videos. I have a video on how to be grateful, another video about why I quit my job if you're curious about my story, so you can watch it there. And see you in the next video. Bye!